Hi everybody, I am Mr. Steve, and today for our virtual STEAM time, we are going to make 5 different kinds of paper airplanes. We're going to make the dynamic dart, the long ranger, the flying squirrel, the UFO, and finally, the warthog. After we've made them all, we're going to fly them. The first paper airplane we're going to make is the dynamic dart. This is one that you've definitely made before because it's a really popular kind and it's easy to make. You start off with an 8.5 by 11 regular size piece of paper and you fold it in half to start. Make sure to fold the crease really well. And you unfold it and fold the corners to the center, that line you just made. And then we fold these edges to the center. Like that. The same time the other side. Good, and now we fold it in half just like that. So we have the sharp point in the front. We want to keep that there. So we fold the top layer down so that we keep that point right in the front and that it folds along that same bottom that we had before. And you flip it over and do the other thing on the other side. And now you made a dynamic dart. Now this one's very easy to do from memory, and it is one of those airplanes that never lets you down. It's very reliable and it does a good job flying. The Long Ranger is our second paper airplane. This one you also use an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and it starts off very similar to the dynamic dart. Fold it in half lengthwise. And unfold it. You fold down this one and this one. Okay, so now it gets a little different. What we're going to do is we're going to valley fold the point. So we're going to take the point and we're going to fold it down like this. And then we're going to fold the corners to the center. Okay, but when we do this, we don't want to make it totally even like that. We want to make it so that goes to the center, just the point. And see how it's going to leave some space here in the middle at the top, and that's what we want. Now the Long Ranger is a really good choice if you are interested in throwing it far. So I was reading that this sometimes could go up to 45 feet if you fold it right and throw it right. So if you're having an airplane contest to see who can fly the longest or the furthest, this would be a good contender. Okay, so now we take the little point here and put it up to the middle like that. And then we're going to fold it in half like so. Good, so this is what we're looking at now. And for this one, we want to keep the front to look like this, so we don't want to point there in the front. So we're going to fold it down like this. Not totally across, maybe just having a little bit of space going up. I'll show you what I mean. So see how that's not totally going across even, it's going up a little bit? That's what you want to do. And do the exact same thing on the other side. Get it folded nicely. And that is the Long Ranger. So you see it's straight there in a point, but here it's got the flat front. Our next paper airplane is the Flying Squirrel. This is a little different than the other ones, but it's a really neat one. To start off with, instead of a regular piece of paper, you have to use a piece of paper that's 6 inches by 6 inches, so you need to cut it to make sure. Like the other ones, you fold it in half to start with, and then unfold it. And so now go the other way, except don't crease the whole fold down. Just use your finger and mark the middle like that. We just need to know where the middle is. That's all. So you see there's a little mark there now, so we know where that is. And now we're going to take one of the sides and go right to that middle mark we just made, and we're going to keep it folded like that. And then we're going to fold the corner to the center like that. We're going to do the same thing to the other side like that. And then we're going to unfold, and we're going to flip it over and reverse fold on that same fold crease mark that we just had. And then we're going to take the point and we're going to valley fold that down. So at this point we have this right here with a couple of flaps. We want to take the flaps and put them under, so lift up the point that we just folded down, and then fold the flaps underneath it because we don't want to have any flaps showing. Good. And then we just fold it in half like this, all the way down, and then unfold it. And this is the flying squirrel. The flying squirrel is really cool. So when we do this one, you'll see that it's going to glide like a flying squirrel going from tree to tree. And there's no place to really hold it, but I'll show you the trick to that later on. Our fourth paper plane is probably my favorite. It's called the UFO. And I like it because it actually looks like a UFO. This one's different because we do need to use scissors at one point. But we do start off with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And we fold it lengthwise like we do in every single one, essentially. But where this one is different is we're going to cut to make a rounded edge at the bottom. So you see how this has the rounded edge? We're going to cut to make these have a rounded edge too. Good. And then we unfold it. And then you take the corners and fold it just down to the center, like is so common in these kind of paper airplanes. And then you fold it down like this. So that's what we're looking at now. So what we do here is we take these corners. So you take the corner and you go down like that. So you're not going all the way to the center, maybe about halfway to the center or so. It's just an estimate. And this almost looks like a puppy dog to me. A couple eyes and its ears, nose. But anyhow, that's where that is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold this top down about 1 inch like that. And then we're going to fold it like this. So that's what we're looking at. And now all we need to do is create the bottom part like this. So we just need about 1/2 inch. And so just take it like this. Fold it down like that. Flip it over, do the same thing with the other side. And now we made a UFO. Our final paper airplane today is called the Warthog. This is probably the most challenging of the 5. There are some confusing directions, so just please pay attention. But this is a really neat one that I like a lot. It flies really well, and it's built to be really strong, so it can withhold hitting walls a lot. And it also flies really well. You start off with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and it starts off very similar to other ones. Just these quickly. You fold down like this. Okay, so here you turn it over. That's different about this one. So you turn it over, and then you take the points from the sides and you put them right down the middle like this. And see how it doesn't go all the way down. It leaves a little bit of space. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so here you want to take the flap that's behind it and put it out like that. So it's like this. Then we turn it over, so now it looks like that. And we fold the point down. See here? You valley fold it across like that. And what we do now is we fold this in half down that way. So that it makes a straight line going across. Do the same thing on the other side. There we go. So it looks like that right now. You're going to take your front and put it up a little bit like that. Same thing with the other side. We're basically making it so it's not hanging over. It's sticking up a little bit. And then same thing for the sides. You want to fold it over and then fold it back. So fold it over and then fold it back. You can experiment with how far you want to go over on these. It does matter. And just put them up like that. Make sure these are sticking up. Make sure that's sticking up. And now you have a warthog. So now we're going to fly our airplanes. Before we fly them, I do want to tell you, be careful when you're flying a paper airplane that nobody's in front of you or around you, because they do have a sharp edge in the front. You could hurt somebody. As you can see, I'm in the children's department of the library. Normally we would not be throwing paper airplanes, but the library is closed right now, so I feel safe enough to do it. Our first airplane is the dynamic dart. Remember, this was the simplest airplane that we made. And when you throw this one, the strategy is to throw it with medium strength. So don't throw it with all your might, just medium. And then throw it so it's going up just a little bit, like this. Second is the long ranger. You throw this very similarly, so just upward a very little bit and with medium strength. Now the long ranger is known for going far, but also it spins. Let's check this out. We have the flying squirrel next. Now, as you might remember, this does not have a place to hold on to like the other airplanes that we're using. So what you do is you take your finger and your thumb and you pinch the bottom at the back. And the higher you let it go, that means that it's going to glide further. Okay, and you kind of want to give it a gentle push. Not too hard. This is the UFO. Now this one here can stay in the air for a really long time, but the fun part about the UFO is we have absolutely no idea where it's going. Here's the important thing though. When you're throwing the UFO, you definitely want to throw it angled up high, and also don't throw it super hard, just medium. And then see where it goes. Okay, so last we're going to fly the warthog. Remember, the Warthog is made with a really tough front, so it can hit a wall, it can hit the floor, and not even look like it's damaged at all. When we throw the Warthog, you want to throw it hard and level. That's different than the other ones. Hard and level, and let it do what it's going to do. And that's it. So thank you for watching our paper airplane episode of Virtual Steam Time. I hope you got some good ideas for paper airplanes. I encourage you to definitely experiment. If you turn the wings certain ways, that might change the way that they go. If you throw them harder or throw them higher or softer or whatever, it might change and you might find an even better way to do it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.